What's up, family? My name is SueAnn.
And my name is Joshua. And we want to welcome you to the First. Now, in today's video, we're talking about expectations for your relationship. What do you do in those moments when things don't go as expected? You know, a lot of times, many of us are getting into relationships or we're planning for marriage, and the biggest event that's talked about is the marriage itself. But what are your expectations for the relationship?
My expectation was just to be happy, for us to have a family, to have a home that we can live in, to be able to grow together. Right. Because we got married really young. Right. I feel like as I got older, my expectations for certain things got a little bit more clearer. Clearer is a good word, but I would say more important. Okay. And I'm trying to think of a better word for important, because it was a necessity. Okay. You know, certain things. You had. Okay. So, like, for example, you know, like, you have those expectations that you have. You know, when you get married, you want to buy a new house, you want to buy a new car, you want to do everything that you build your dreams together. Exactly. You want the wedding to be perfect, right? Right. And you realize really fast that everything isn't as what you picture it to be, or is not picture perfect. Absolutely. I absolutely. That's, I think, is just the key to this whole video, because when you think about expectations, like for me, I would say my expectations was very similar. And the good thing is we talked about our expectations, you know, that we wanted to grow together. We knew that marriage was ministry. We defined that early. We wanted to have a family together. We talked about we were going to have how many kids we were going to have, and a dog. And even just to that point, no dog, y'all. The dog is gone. I'm going to tell you all about that in a minute. But even to that point, basically where we're getting at is that your expectations, it can change, or things may not go as expected. But the critical point is, what do you do in those moments when things don't go as expected? We see a lot of people go into it, and they have a clear timeline. We're going to get married at this age. We're going to have children at this age. We're going to buy a house at this age. We're going to open a business at this age. And then all of a sudden, there's this one variable that we don't really take into consideration, and it's called life. And life can throw some curveballs at you. And if things don't go as expected, how do you manage, or what do you do in moments like that? So I mean, I think there's so much that we can talk about when it comes to expectations, but one of the most important things is making sure that you're continuing to talk about it. Absolutely. Just continuing to encourage each other, because in some cases, if something may not go the way that you want it, it can be really discouraging. Absolutely. You know, and this is just in life in general. Right. But in marriage, like, if you envisioned something a certain way, and you wanted something a certain way, and it never happened, it's like, how do you get past that? Just to give an example, we were 21 years old when we got married. We were still in college. We were working full-time, in school full-time. And we decided we were going to go ahead and proceed and get married. And we said we're going to get married, we're going to finish, get our degree, get into our careers, and then maybe start having kids. Well, surprise, surprise, you know, maybe 2 months after being married, we found out we were pregnant. And so, you know, those were the expectations had to change. Exactly. And I think in a situation like that, you know, it's critical that we come together and we talk about it. Okay, some things, we're going to move some things around. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's an audible here now. Yeah, it's an audible. Kind of switch up the play a little bit. You know, we're still going to get where we're going. We just have to change it up a little bit. And sometimes that's what you're just going to have to do. Right. You know? Right. And I was going to mention something, and it completely slipped me, but hopefully it comes back. Okay. But I think one thing Sue has been saying lately, and I think we want to share this with you, is that Sue said the word for the season. What's the word for the season? Flow. Yes. You gotta learn how to flow. You know, you want to kind of just where that came from. No. Okay. So there is, you know, I know us women, and maybe even for some men too, you know, but I can only speak by my own experience. Like, you want something to be so perfect, you know, like when you're gonna have a baby, you want to have that nursery, you want to have that dream crib and everything set up with the baby's room, and you know, if it doesn't go that way, even in that state of being pregnant, you can be like really emotional about it, and you want the baby to have its own room, and when you really think of it, the baby's gonna be sleeping in your bed the whole time, like until they're 3 years old. So like, what's the big deal, you know?
Right.
You just have to just flow.
Yeah.
You just have to flow. Just flow.
And flow together. That's key. Don't flow apart. Flow together. Flow together. Because it's easier said than done.
Exactly.
When we say flow, it's easier said than done. There's certain things that you have been through in your relationship, and that was hard times. But when you look at each other, you know, you realize that we grew through this.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know, the main thing that we want to point out, and there's two things, but before we get into the main last point, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. You know, it doesn't have to be the way that we envisioned it. It doesn't have to be the way that we pictured it. As long as the ultimate goal happens at the end of the day.
Finished is better than perfect. How many things do we push or not move on because it's not perfect, but at the end of the day it's left undone?
Yeah.
And so for us, it's like, you know what, we're going to get through this and we're going to make it, and we have a final product here. And so when it comes to expectations, have some. We're not saying don't have expectations for your relationship, but understand that everything is not going to happen exactly the way you planned it.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to flow with your spouse.
Definitely.
How do we get through this? How do we make sure that, like you said, at the end of the day, the goal is accomplished?
Yes. And talk about it. Talk about what you need to change, what you need to make better to be able to get where you want to go.
Right.
And to not dwell on the fact that it's not perfect.
Right. Yeah. And so our goals may not have been accomplished exactly the way we wanted to, but we're still accomplishing them.
Of course. And you can do the same too.
Yeah, you can do the same too. You know.
And you know, I want to mention, don't live in regret. You know, regret is just going to hold you back. It's going to cause bitterness.
Yes.
Just
say flow. Flow. Flow.
Flow on that. Flow on that.
You know, I always say, you know, learn from your past, but don't live in it. What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
It's only now that can determine your future. Your past is the past. What are you going to do now? And that's why it's a gift called the present. Yeah. So that's what we're leaving with y'all today. Have expectations, but talk about it. Especially when things may not happen as expected. You guys can get through anything. As long as you come together, the Bible says 2 is better than 1. So when one falls, there's another to help pick them up. Flow together. You can get through anything together. There's power in agreement. The Bible says where 2 or more come together, God is there. Yeah. A triple braided cord is not easily broken.
And if you're single, flow. Learn how to flow before you get married.
Absolutely.
It's like rivers. When you get married, it's like 2 rivers trying to flow together.
Yeah. So, yeah, master your flow if you're single, but understand who you are. When we say flow, understand how you flow with life, and then once you understand the person you meet, then you guys can flow together. Okay, so we hope that helps you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. We're here to bring you guys content that's going to help you in your relationships and in your goals. So
yes, and we offer a free relationship toolkit. It's just a guide for you, a little workbook for you to utilize, so you can get with your significant other or spouse, or even if you're single, you can list out your goals that you want for your relationship.
Absolutely.
Create a vision and a purpose for your relationship.
Absolutely. And share this with others who you know that can benefit from this. You know, whether they're single or in a relationship, we are all in this together. So God bless you guys. We love you. We thank you for joining us on the F.I.R.S.T. My name is Joshua Fequiere.
And my name is SueAnn Fequiere.
And we want to thank you for joining us in the F.I.R.S.T. And always remember,
keep God first.
Keep God first. God bless y'all. See ya. Peace.
Bye.